So I've been having it's not as easy making videos as it used to be, especially with the wind. It used to be in Japan that I would just, the urge would strike and the words would come. But I've got, well, part of it has to do with the fact that I need time to compose my thoughts and to prepare. The other thing is that the ideas are a little more challenging, like with this religion stuff. Although that's a little easier than some of this other stuff, like this one. I wonder if this video, I wonder if I can get it out. It's like you have an idea for something and you want to get it out. I've got like 2 or 3 other videos in queue waiting to go out. Anyway, I'm off topic. I wanted to make this video to share with you an intriguing development with regard to the resumption of my channel. My life is about to change in a very interesting way, in an opportune way. Emily's going back to school, starting high school in 2 days, and my wife is looking for a job, which means that I'm going to be presented with an interesting opportunity. When I was in Japan, I adventured about every week, maybe 2 weeks, about every 2 weeks. On one day I would go out into the mountains, and I would have a whole bunch of adventures and collect about 10 videos, 12 videos and whatever more, and then upload those throughout. And gave the impression to people that I was adventuring every day, but I wasn't. I could easily get way more videos than I could upload, because Japan was just so fruitful, just so rich in opportunity to make videos. But I've got another opportunity now. As you know, for the last year and a half, more than a year and a half, I've been quite devoted to one task, which is getting my family moved. Now, with my daughter starting school, my wife on the cusp of finding a job, my unique work schedule, which allows me every other Friday off, gives me every other Friday off and to myself. And what an opportunity that is. So I was talking to my wife about it, and I think I'm going to basically use that as my adventure day. Me and this guy right here, the big old GS. The GS and I are going to be heading back out, resuming the old adventure lifestyle. And this will be done in a way similar to what I did before, which is trying to go out into remote, distant areas, places where you don't normally find a lot of people, to find what I can find there. Now, it used to be when in Japan I was doing that, I kind of did that without really a purpose. Now I've got more of a purpose. Even though I disparage the word philosophy as much as I do poetry, I do love both, and I do like to indulge in them. And I found that the time that I've been spending in remote places is quite conducive to the muse, for whatever that's worth. Even if it's just for my own musings. I'm going to be using those alternate Fridays to pursue that, and bring my camera with me. Here's the purpose of the video. Here's where it gets really interesting. My wife I don't talk to her much about these things. In fact, she doesn't really watch my videos. Nobody really in my family really does, although Emily's begun to. That's kind of interesting. Since she came to America, suddenly she's become a viewer. Very interesting development. But that's another point. The interesting thing is, I never really realized just how in tune Yumiko was with me until an incident this weekend. So we agreed these Fridays. We agreed that I'm going to be taking the big old GS out into the wilderness and adventuring out there. And I was telling her how the wilderness out here is a lot more vicious. That's not the right word. It's a lot more wild. It's a lot more remote, and it's a lot more foreboding and bottom line dangerous than what we knew in Japan, what I used to adventuring in Japan. And we were at the sporting goods store getting some diving gear, and I noticed that they had those things called, what are they called? Well, I can't even remember the name now. They're push button things. And it sends a signal, or GPS coordinates, up to a satellite and off to an SOS, basically. There's a word for it. It's a one-word thing for the product. There's a couple of products like this, but the one-word one, and it does this. And I was telling her, I want to get one of these things, because I'm a little worried about being in these remote places like the deep end of the volcano wilderness, where it takes me more than half a day just to get out there. And if something happens to me, I'm really screwed. There's nobody out there. There's nothing out there. And no one really knows where I am, except for some rough GPS coordinates that I tend to put out. So I brought it over and I said, look at this. It's about $150, less than that. I said, I'm thinking I'm going to get one of these things. You know, my YouTube earnings can pay for it. And I'm going to get one of these things for my adventures out in the desert. I'm tapping on the glass. Spot, that's what it's called, spot device. And she looks at it. She kind of looks at me in this knowing way. You know, you remember English is her second language, and sometimes I'm impressed the way she's able to. I wish I could convey exactly what she said. It was more the look, the knowing look in her eyes. And she looked at me and she said something like, I just can't remember what it was. It's like, oh, what was it? It was a look as though humoring me. You know, it's like, why do you want something like that? She said, and then she did say in English, she told me, she said, because that's the only chance you have, because I could never understand that level of Japanese, ever. She said, wouldn't that be a little bit like walking a tightrope with a net? What's the point? It kind of took me aback and floored me. I never would have, it's not that she surprised me in saying that, it's just that I never realized and how appreciative of me, how supportive she is of what I do. She's always been encouraging me to the wild. You know, from all this time, it's been me that's been holding me back. We've been together almost 30 years, and this has been a draw that, you know, almost 2006, 2017 will be 30. And it's always been this draw that I've had to the deep wild, and I've always been holding back, thinking that I was doing it for her, but really she knows what it means to me, and she's always encouraged me to do it. And this, wow, that she would be so in tune with the fact that it's one thing to go deep in the wilderness, it's another thing to go deep untethered. And this is where it kind of sounds a little mystic and spiritual and wooey, which I'm hesitant, I'm suspicious of. But I gotta say, there is something to it, to a degree. There is something to the wind. Let's get behind the mic. I hope it hasn't been windy all this time. There is really something to going beyond the road closed sign, where it's all locked out and sealed off back there, and no one knows you're back there, coming to the end of the road and going further. And the things you can experience out there in that condition, it's the same reason probably that people climb without ropes and do trapeze without a net, for the extra feeling. And it's not just a thrill, it's something else. And I'll testify to it. Now, I'm a family man with a wife and a daughter and all that, but I'll counter that with the fact that I'm well insured. My daughter is not grown, but getting close on it. And I've been adventuring all my adult life, and I have a pretty good. This is just excuse. Now there's no way getting around the risk. The risk is there, but I never realized that this center stand thing. I always thought that was a dent in the exhaust pipe. But that's to hold the center stand. Okay, but back on track. I never really realized. There's no way I can't justify it. I can't make an excuse. This is the way that I preferred it, and I want to do it. I'm likely going to do it. Call me a fool if you want. Call me an idiot. I'll accept that. It is the case. I am. And in more ways than one. So look for these adventures to have the added fact that I'll be going without a net. I'll be adventuring without a net, and so be it. And one adventure that finally gets me, this one you guys will never hear about. But I don't think so. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to sign off for now. Have enough of this wild talk. Time to prepare myself mentally, physically, to go beyond not this road, but the deeper road, the road where there is no road, there is no sign at the end of the road. It's simply, you know when you've gone past, and you know when you're alone, and you know when you're way out there, and there's no one who's going to help. That's where you meet the great difference, and that's what I'm after. All right, take care, everybody. Bye bye.